Okay, so let's try this again. Okay, so I went ahead and spent the extra 30 bucks, which is what I should have done to begin with. And I got some bulbs that I know are going to be awesome because I've had these before. Now, if you've got a Jeep Wrangler or a Jeep Gladiator and you've got the stock halogen fog lights, these things are an amazing upgrade. It will blow you away what a difference it is. It's a bigger difference than you're going to get with the headlights. Seriously, I mean, this is just a big, big, big improvement. But I'm hoping that even on my Ram 1500, I'm going to see a pretty awesome improvement too. So, Supernova V4, these are the real deal, not the Chinese knockoffs that are being sold on a lot of websites. These are the real ones. I got these from Headlight Revolution, who, by the way, does not sponsor me. I buy all this stuff out of my own pocket. You guys already knew that, but I just really love these bulbs. And here's a look at the bulb. It's got, of course, a fan on the heat sink and some really, really, really high quality housings and LED chips in there. We've got a nice driver here with the connection that you can take apart there. These are the H11s for the new Ram. And you've even got a little tool here that you can use to clock the bulb if you need to, because when you stick this in there, you want the bulb to be left to right, 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock, just like that. And if it's not, when you install it, if it's not like that, then you can use this little tool here, little Allen key, to loosen up the adjustment screw and clock it where you need it and then tighten it back down. But these things are going to be an awesome upgrade. Can't wait to show you. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to wait till it gets dark this evening. We're going to go out here in the field behind the house, just turn on the fog lights. These are the stock halogen fog lights that are obviously standard on the new Rams. I don't have the LED upgrade, obviously, that's why I'm doing this. So I'm going to show you with the stock halogen fog lights. Did I say headlights a minute ago? I meant fog lights. I'm working on the fog lights right now. We'll get to the headlights later. Anyhow, I'm going to show you what these look like. Then we'll pop the Supernova bulbs in and do a before and after comparison. All right, be back later. All right, the sun's going down, so let's get in the truck, take a little ride through the field, and see what these stock fog lights will do. All right, so I'm just going to cruise around the field here for a moment, and I'm burning just the fog lights. Headlights are turned off. It's kind of bouncy here, so bear with me for just a moment. I'm going to drive down here to a spot where I can be stationary for a second. Down here where it's more dark, less light pollution. Sounds like my dog's going nuts. So as you can see, the stock fog lights are not very bright. They do go out pretty wide, but they're not very bright. And I guess that's kind of the point, is that you want to put some bulbs in here that are going to give you a more intense light. I've got my enclosed trailer parked down there. You can see, well, because of the tinted windows you can't see, but here we'll look out the windshield. There is a pretty wide beam there. It comes over pretty wide on both sides. You can see the tree there in the distance. And right in front of the truck, there's a little bit of a hot spot, but I'm probably guessing about 30 feet is all you're getting with these. Now, they're fog lights. They're not supposed to be long distance driving lights, but that doesn't mean you can't have a little bit more help from them. And that's what we're going to try and do tomorrow when we pop in those Supernovas. But there's a look at the stock halogen fog lights in the 2020 Ram 1500. That enclosed trailer over there is probably about 70 or 80 feet away, and you can make it out because it's got chrome trim. But if it wasn't for that chrome trim reflecting the light, it'd be kind of hard to see it. So just for reference there. But oh, and one more thing that I wanted to do is just kind of compare with the headlights, again, just for reference. So there's the fog lights, and there's the headlights. Fog lights, headlights. So obviously the headlights get out farther down the road. That's what they're intended to do. but you can tell that the intensity is not really that different. And I guess that makes sense because it's an H11 bulb in both. But there's not really a whole lot of difference in brightness or intensity there. So that's something else we're going to try and rectify. Eventually, when I get around to doing the headlights, I want to get a lot more intensity out of these. In my opinion, the headlights should be brighter than your fogs. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that for reference also. Okay, let's get with it. So I have run into a little bit of a problem. The adjustment collar that I was talking about on these LED bulbs, where you can clock the bulb the way you need to, I clocked this one, and then when I went to tighten down the adjustment screw, it stripped out. And I didn't give it a whole lot of torque at all. It just stripped right out. So now it just sits there and spins, which means I can't tighten it down, which means I can't install the bulb. So that kind of sucks. And if I can't figure out how to MacGyverize this thing and make it work, I guess I'm going to have to send this bulb back, which is a real shame because I was hoping to be able to get this project done and finished today. But FYI, if you do clock these, be very gentle with that set screw in there because apparently that metal is really, really soft. Okay, so I finally was able to find a small machine screw up at the hardware store and get that one bulb that was giving me trouble at the adjustable collar. I got it locked down. So that's taken care of. Now I'm going to drive around the field here in the same direction that I went last night so we can see apples to apples, a comparison between the stock halogen bulbs and these Supernova V.4 LED bulbs. Now this is just the fog lights that you see right now, and I think you can tell it is a huge difference as expected. Now when I get on down here where it's really dark, we'll throw on the headlights, and I'll bet that you'll be able to see that the headlights are actually less bright than these Supernovas. Okay, so I'm in the same spot where I paused last night, so you can see the utility trailer up there to the left. Again, it's probably about 70 or 80 feet away, and I've got a tree over here about 40 feet away. Obviously the intensity of this light is much brighter, and you get a little bit wider of a beam. Look how wide the beam is way over there on both sides. A little bit wider beam and just a much more intense light. Now I went with the yellow color purposefully because there's a lot of information out there that suggests that the yellow color might cut through foul weather better. So if you were to get the white color, you would see probably even more of a difference. It would be really, really intense, very white, and probably would carry out just a little bit farther too. But for fog lights, I really like these yellow ones because I do believe that they make a difference in the fog and the bad weather. Now I'm going to turn these off and turn on the headlights. It's kind of funny because the headlights, you can tell, are, I mean, obviously they get out farther because of the aim and the reflectors that they're in, but you can tell that the intensity on the headlights is now worse than what I've got for fog lights. And this is what I saw in the Jeep Wrangler and the Jeep Gladiator also. Those housings are even better because of where they're positioned on the bumper. So if you put these Supernova bulbs in those, I mean, it's just, it'll outshine your headlights. It's crazy. So there's the fog lights again. Headlights, not nearly as bright. Those are the low beam H11s, by the way. And here it is with the H11 Supernova fog lights turned on also. Big difference. And again, the fog lights now pretty much taken over. So, excuse me. So what I need to do is probably get some of these same bulbs for the headlights, and of course we're out in a field so it's hard to tell, but I'll have to pull up against a wall next time I do this so I can show you the beam pattern. But the beam pattern is razor sharp. There's a really sharp upper cutoff to these, so they're not going to throw a whole lot of glare out there either. And the headlights that they sell are even better with an even sharper cutoff. So again, just a massive difference. And you know, they were about $150, but these are the types of bulbs that will last for a long time. So it's a pretty good investment in my opinion. A couple of other things that I'll mention real quick. First of all, there's hundreds of different LED bulb options out there for these Ram trucks, Jeeps, whatever you've got. There's hundreds of options out there. But what I have found is that if you go to some place like eBay, Amazon, someplace where you're getting the cheaper, you know, I don't know what else to say about them. They're cheap bulbs. That's when you end up running into trouble, because those bulbs are not designed properly. They don't have the proper heat sinks, the proper width, the proper distance inside the housing. There's a whole lot of problems with the design on those, and that's why you end up hearing all these rumors about how you can't put LED bulbs in halogen housings. It's because for so long people have been buying junk, and then they do throw glare all over the road and blind people. So it's very important to get quality bulbs. Now, I'm not sponsored by Headlight Revolution, you guys know that, but I always shop at Headlight Revolution because those guys test everything they sell. They even put videos up on their YouTube page where you can see the tests that they do. You know, they measure the brightness, they show you the beam patterns. You know, they only buy quality bulbs, they only sell quality bulbs, and they test everything they sell. And they're very open and transparent about all of it. So you know when you buy from those guys, you're getting a good set of bulbs that's going to give you the beam pattern you need, the brightness you want. You know, it's the way to go. So you got to get quality bulbs. The second thing is, on these FCA vehicles, sometimes when you put an LED bulb in the halogen housing, you'll have to do one of two things. Either you have to get the little adapters that have the resistors in line, or you can go the programming route and just get like a taser or some other type of programmer that you can just plug in under the dash and activate the LED setting. The reason why is because obviously halogen bulbs and LED bulbs have completely different amounts of draw as far as energy. The pulse and the current going to the bulbs, everything's different. And sometimes I've had mixed results. Like for instance, the Wrangler JL, no trouble. I put the exact same bulbs in the Gladiator and they wouldn't work. So it's just kind of hit and miss. But if you put them in and you notice that they're blinking or flashing or going on and off, you know, you're having trouble with them, you might have to go one of those two routes. I usually went with the programming route because, like, for example, on this Ram, it's got 6 different bulbs. You got low beams, high beams, and then you got fog lights. If you bought resistors for each of those 6 bulbs, you're well over $100 already, you know, and all you can do with it is run your bulbs. You know, you can spend $190 and get a taser programmer on sale or something, and then you can activate your LEDs and a whole lot of other things also. So I think the programming route's the better way to go. But just keep that in mind. Sometimes you have to do that, sometimes you don't, to get these LEDs to work. So those are a couple of things I wanted to mention to you. But if you take the time, do your homework, get some quality bulbs, and then you know, have some backup plan to activate them if you need to, you'll be really happy. These things are a huge difference. They really light up the roadway. Excellent, especially if you live out in a dark rural area like I do. It's a big deal being able to see deer and obstacles and things more quickly than you would have been able to with those cheap halogen bulbs. So hopefully this is informative and helps somebody out, and I just appreciate you guys watching. And stay tuned for some more cool stuff coming later on. Thanks, and enjoy your Easter weekend. Later.